Welcome to Friday Night Live. Do me a huge favor right now. Can you press the share if you're on Facebook? Press the share button right now. Thank you so much. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe to our station right now, to our channel. We want everyone to be a part of this exciting show. We thank you for your support. Let's go into our service and let's enjoy the show.
You are awesome. Hallelujah. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your glory of your goodness. Let us become more aware of your presence. Lord, let us experience the glory of your goodness. Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. Lift your voices. Come on, say, Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood this place. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. If you don't mind lifting your glory, your glory, God, is what I want. To be overcome by your presence. Say, Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Say, come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. I see you. Say, your glory. Your glory, God, is what our hearts want. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence, we invite your presence. Now, right where you are, lift it with us. Come on. But he'll make a way. Jay Allen.
Standing here, not knowing how we'll get through this test, holding on to faith you know best. Nothing can catch you by surprise. You've got this figured out. You're watching us now. But when it looks as if we can't win, you wrap us in your arms and step in. And everything we need you supply. 'Cause you got this in control. And now we know that you made a way. When our backs were against the wall and it looked as if it was over, you made a way, yeah. And we're standing here only because you made a way.
If you believe those words this morning, just reach out to your God and say, we thank you, God. Waymaker.
And now we're here, yeah, looking back on where we've come from. Because of you and nothing we've done to deserve the love and mercy you've shown. 'Cause your grace was strong enough to pick us up, and you, come on, you made a way when our backs were against the wall, and it looked as if it was over, almost over, but you made a way, and we're standing here, only because you made a way. Hallelujah. You cause the walls to fall with your power. You perform miracles. There is nothing that's impossible. And we're standing here only because you made. Come on. You move mountains. You cause the walls to fall. With your power, perform miracles. There is nothing that's impossible. And we're standing only because. Come on, 3 parts. You move mountains.
Arise, oh God, and take your place. Let your kingdom be established. Oh, ancient of days, you are good, and your mercy endures forever. Come on. Worship, yes, we glorify your name. You are good, yes, you are, and your mercy endures forever. Oh, yeah, arise, oh God, and take your place. Yes, we are standing on your promise, and the just shall live by faith. You are good, and your mercy endureth forever. Come on, we got one more. Yeah, yeah. Arise, oh God, and take your place. Oh, we have come to give you glory. We've come to give you praise. 'Cause you are good, and your mercy endureth forever. Come on, if you know this one, put your hands together. Yeah. We're going to have a praise party right where you are. And I want you to just repeat after me. If you got a testimony today of the goodness of God, say you are good, so good. That's what I want you to say. Come on, let me say it. Say, you are good, so good. Come on, if God's been good to you, come on, help me say, you are good, so good, real good, still good. You are good, you're so good, still good, and you're real good. You are good.
Yes, they can see you.
Happy Sabbath to everyone, and welcome to Friday Night Live. I'm trying to see myself for a moment here. I see blackness, but something tell me you can see me. We're so happy to have everyone here on this Friday Night Live. So what we're going to do, we want to take some time to spotlight some very powerful ministries that I want you to participate in their success and in their reach and influence throughout the communities where they're serving. So at this time, I want to introduce you to Abbott P. And I can't see my screen, so we're gonna go to the Albert P. Promo, and then I will be back, and by then I have my end of my technology together. Okay, so at this time, enjoy this promo, and we will be right back.
Today, with hard work and perseverance, the Albert C. Pierre Community Service Center has made what once a dream a reality due to your generosity. The opening of the ACP REA Vision Care Center will provide vision care in an effort to bridge the gap in providing for the underserved. Vision loss is a common problem. Unless treated promptly and effectively, long-term implications on the quality of life may occur. The American Optometric Association states that significant barriers exist for underprivileged Americans seeking eye health and vision care, with only 3% of patients receiving such services in 2019. This prompted the AOA's call for a greater access among underserved populations. The vulnerable communities are at great risk for undiagnosed and uncorrected eye vision disorders or diseases. This disparity is compounded by inadequate or no health insurance, lack of access to eye care, cost of treatments, and misunderstanding the importance of routine vision care throughout all stages of life. Lack of eye care can significantly impact learning, job performance, employment opportunities, and home safety. Our goal is to make a difference by serving this neglected population. ACP REA Vision Care Center mission is to make a difference in South Florida by providing vision care to the underserved. This is one of many ACP programs that impacts the community. The success of these programs is only possible with your gifts. Your donation of $100 can provide a thorough eye examination and a pair of eyeglasses. Please use any of our giving platforms and help make a difference today. ACP REA Vision Care Center needs your support in providing affordable vision care to children, individuals, and families. Your gift shows that you care. It is because of your generosity we are able to make a difference. Please go on any of our listed platforms and make your donation today. For at Albert C. Pierre Community Service Center, our actions change people.
And we're so excited. Let's go to another song, and we're going to adjust what's going on my end of my technology. So give us a second. I need to just make some adjustments.
Jesus, you're the center of my joy. All that's good and perfect comes from you. You're the heart of my contentment, hope for all I do. Jesus, you're the center of my joy. When I've lost my direction, you're the compass for my way. You're the fire and light when nights are long and cold. In sadness, you are the laughter that shatters all my fears. When I'm all alone, your hand is there to why I find pleasure. The simple things in life, you're the music in the meadows and the streams, the voices of the children, my family and my home. You're the source and fish of my dream. Oh, Jesus. Heart of my contentment. Oh, say Jesus, you are the center of my joy. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God reigns. Our God reigns. Yes, Lord, you reign above every name. Yes, my God reigns. Our God reigns. Come on, sing it. Lord, you reign above every name. Oh, with power and majesty, dominion, authority, you reign. Yes, you do, God, over our houses, God. Oh, with power and majesty, dominion, authority, you reign. Yeah, my God reigns. Our God reigns. Come on, sing it. Lord, you reign above every name. Yeah, my God reigns. Yes, our God reigns. Oh, Lord, you reign above every name. Oh, with power and majesty, dominion, authority, you reign over our houses and our children and our jobs, God. With power and majesty, dominion, authority, you reign. Yeah, come on, my God reigns. God reigns. Oh, Lord, you reign above every name. Yeah, my God reigns. Yes, our God reigns. Oh, Lord, you reign above every name. Come on, one more time, say it. With power and majesty, dominion, authority, you reign. You get the glory, God. No one else with power and majesty, dominion, authority, you reign. Come on, sing it. Yeah, my God reigns. Woo! Our God reigns. Come on, Lord, you reign above every name. Yeah, my God reigns. Oh, our God reigns. Yes, Lord, you reign above every name. We're going to change it a little bit. Listen. Over my circumstance, you've given me another chance. You reign. Come on, how many of you know you don't deserve it? Come on, but he did it. Over my circumstance, you've given me another chance. You reign. Come on, come on. One more time, say, over my circumstance, you've given me another chance. 'Cause you reign. Woo. You reign. Yes, God, you reign. Over my money, over my job, God, you reign. Yeah, you reign. Yes, God, you reign. We make that declaration.
All right, we're back. It is good to be back, and I can see myself. Praise the Lord. I was sort of lost for a while. They're trying to figure out where my picture was being beamed to, but we're back together. So happy Sabbath to everyone. Listen, at this time, let's bring on my good friend, Pastor Durham. Oh, I'm calling him Pastor. That he's not. Durham. Unmute yourself, my friend.
No, I am not endowed.
I just promoted you, my friend.
I'm just a servant of the Lord.
I said, bring on the pastor. Elder, it's good to have you this
Yes.
evening, my friend.
Great to be here.
I love your get up. Your get up is very attractive, attracting, and it's very colorful and has a very familiar ring to it. And we're going to get to that as we pull together two awesome ministries and we show the power of community involvement through that of the Albert C. Correct?
Albert C. Pierre Community
Pierre
Service
Community Service and Prairie-ality. Let's talk about the Albert C. Pierre Community Service. You're preparing to open, I think, the first of its kind.
Yes,
associated
actually,
with Adventism.
Really.
Can I
that's tabernacle for you. We are trendsetters.
Can I just stop and just give you and tabernacle what's rightfully due to you guys for such a powerful vision, and for actually accomplishing the vision? What a powerful statement of the power of God when ordinary people work together to do something extraordinary for the Lord. That is absolutely awesome. Share with us briefly the journey to this great accomplishment.
Then what you see, Elder Pastor Lewis, is taking place right now is that the founding members of the Tabernacle Church, when they first congregated and first became a church, one of their objectives and goals were to be community service oriented. That was the passion of the church from the founding members. Actually, the redesigning of the church in 2008 was to bring the church to what the original founding members wanted the church to be at. So we finally got the church to where it was. Redesigned it because at first it was a bank. When they were first purchased it was called the Little River Bank. And let me just share with you, in the charter of this purchasing of this bank, the charter stated that people of color was not to own it. But with God's grace and his will, the members of Tabernacle Church was able to acquire this building and turn it around for servicing and reaping of souls. Community service has always been its passion for the members of Tabernacle. And that's where we founded the Albert C. Pierre Community Service Center, which was we renamed our community service program after one of the elders who was so engaged into the community, Albert C. Pierre. And that's why we have Albert C. Pierre Community Service.
So ACP, as it is called, it's acronyms. Is for the purpose of caring for that community that's surrounding redeveloping area of Miami-Dade, basically.
Exactly, yes.
And you're still reaching out to communities that's beyond that community, actually
way beyond. Sometimes we have people who comes in from all the way in Broward lining up for food every third Sunday. Wow. So our reach is vast, and whoever comes, we serve. We do not discriminate race, color, gender, whatever your preference is. If you have a need and we can fulfill that need, our goal is to meet you and reach out, just like how Jesus did it when he was here on earth, the example that he set for us.
So when is this great center opening?
The Vision Care Center, the ACP REA Vision Care Center we have our dedication ceremony tomorrow. And the opening date is March 25th. It's going to be our first opening. Our appointment, our clientele is strictly by appointment only, you can go to our website at acpcommunityservicecenter.org and make your reservations. Or there's a number which I don't have in front of me right now that you can call in and make your booking. But I can get to that number
Awesome.
sometime soon.
And we will advertise and we will promote this program throughout the month because it is a blessing to those living in the Dade County, Dade, Broward, or even West Palm Beach, Palm Beach County. They have a place. Now, are the services free? Are you partnering with other government agencies?
Most of the services are free. We will not turn away anyone, but we ask that if those who can afford to pay, they can make a payment. Now, the charges are very, very minimal. It's just to cover the cost of the material and the equipment that we use there. But if someone should come that can't afford, we will not turn them away, because this is why we are raising funds on our acpcommunityservice.org website to raise funds to cover the cost of anyone that comes in that door that we will be able to service who can't afford. Let me say this, Elder, before you continue. The American Optometric Association states that a significant barrier exists among the unprivileged Americans. And last year, in 2019, only 3% of the underprivileged community was served. And this is why, if there's only under 3% has been served, there's a lot of underprivileged individuals that needs eye care. Eye care is very important. It hinders you from seeking a job, getting proper education, the most essential things of life.
Self-confidence. That self-confidence is definitely,
especially with our demographics, it's very important that we reach out and provide services to build our people and us out of the community and help us to do better and improve ourselves.
Well, I was excited to partner with you this evening because previous programs we had Dr. Clark, who is an ophthalmologist, who took her time to break down the eye and how important this particular body part is to success and to confidence. And so this evening, I'm happy to promote this program. And listen to me. What they're offering is quality, and it is life-changing to those in need. And so this evening, as we have done with so many other great programs and initiatives, we're going to once again tap on the shoulders of this great group of believers and supporters of this program, Friday Night Live. And we want you to basically help those who are going to come without funds. And trust me, in the Miami-Dade area, we have a large population of low-income residents,
right?
And they are in need of our services. And I am going to make that appeal. If you can bless us this evening as we sow into the lives of these individuals living in that community, tonight will be the night. And so, Nick, if you can put up the Cash App, we want to raise funds this evening. And once again, you know what God has done for you. You know what a blessing God has been to you and your family and your extended family. God has blessed you with people blessing you and favoring you. And so this evening, we want to do the same for those who will come on March the 25th, that first day, and they're looking for help. And they're desperately in need of an intervention. And that desperation needs to be met with love and with finances that can take care of them. So I want no one to be desperately in need, and the Church of God cannot provide. So what we're basically requesting and we're asking is that if you could give 100, do so this evening. Sow that 100 into this ministry. Trust me, every dollar is going to be used on the ministry, on the person that will be in need of that care. If not 100, whatever you can give this evening, will go directly to this ministry. By the way, make that donation in ACP. Just put ACP. Just put ACPV Vision Center. ACP. And we will make sure that at the end of the week we'll cut a check. And by the way, if you don't have it today, give it throughout the week or when you receive your paycheck or your increase. Bless this ministry so that someone will be blessed. That's what I'm talking about. ACP, amazing. It's amazing. I believe it. I trust what God is doing through Tabernacle and Little River Bank. We were not supposed to do business. Now we're doing ministry.
We're banking for souls now.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's talk about plurality.
Yes.
That's the next one. Doc, show the promo real quick of plurality, and we're going to come right back as we continue to shine this spotlight on a beautiful church, a progressive church, Tabernacle, and the auxiliaries, the ministries of this great congregation. If we can cue that up right now, take a look at this Friday Night Live, and we'll be back just to finish off celebrating these great ministries.
It is almost that time for Pure Reality's Retreat. 3 intense days, 3 taboo topics, and 2 speakers of God to deliver the pure reality truths. Are you between the ages of 12 and 25? Do you have real urges and questions about love, sex, and married life? Are you tired of being fed half-truths and lies you know do not line up with the Word of God? What a place to lay down all your misconceptions. Are you yearning to surrender and begin to live in the freedom of change? Learn the truth unveiled as pure reality. Perhaps you're a victim of mainstream media, imposing examples of love, sex, and marriage on your lives. You wish you could speak up and break the chains that prevent you from fully living in the freedom of God. It all happens at Pure Reality Retreat if you're between the ages of 12 and 25. The intersection between acceptance and change awaits you at the Pure Reality Retreat. Love, sex, and marriage were never meant to be taboo. You will discover answers to the world's questions imposed on you as youths and young adults in Christ. A tranquil getaway in Florida is a must attend. Register today at www.purereality.org. You will be taken to the truth, where you'll experience freedom to live the healthy life that God intended. For we are set apart by divine design to educate, uplift, and restore the truth of God to all minds. Register for Pure Reality Retreat today. See you at Pure Reality.
All right, Elder, we're back. Let's talk a little bit about this great program, Pure Reality. What an awesome intervention for the kingdom of God.
Yes, it is.
A program designed to attack that beautiful expression of love that the enemy manipulates so often to trap our young people into a vicious cycle of pain and hurt. And I'm talking about sex. Sex is not a bad word, everyone. It's not a bad word.
No,
it's
not.
a beautiful word. And if you go to this retreat, they will teach you how to honor it and how to wait for the right moment to enjoy this beautiful encounter where two become one. Elder, tell us a little bit about the weekend and what can someone do? It might be a little too late. Talk to us about.
Yes.
What can be done?
Actually, I would say if for the Friday Night Flight family, for you, I would My registration team is going to kill me.
Ah,
But I will say we'll give you till Saturday evening
all right.
to get your registration in, to go to purereality.org and register. And we cut off registration as of today.
Well, we thank you
Today
so
is our
much for
last day
extending.
for registration. But I will extend until Saturday evening. After that, we
That's it.
have to close.
That's it.
Our back is against the wall. Our registration team is going to strangle me. When I get off here, I'm almost sure I'm going to get a couple phone calls from them.
Yes, we
But
are going
I
to.
would pray for forgiveness and stay within the Sabbath hours.
They're watching. They posted. Yes, we are going
Yes.
to.
But we have an awesome program lined up. Our directors has prepared an excellent program for us.
I can't
We have
wait.
one of your very own who is our keynote speaker, Alexis Madrid, and it's excited to have her. And we also have Pastor Darrell Albury,
Yes,
who is
Aubrey.
there, who's an excellent speaker as well. We have a lot of funds and programs lined up for the weekend, starting Friday afternoon. We get up on the campground. We have a wonderful praise and worship Friday night Vespers program planned for you, exciting and exhilarating, where you're able to fellowship and have fun with teenagers and young adults your age. You'll be surprised to know that a lot of our kids experience the same problems with each other, and until you get to interact with each other and realize that, hey, I am not
Alone.
I'm not the strange one. I'm not the odd one. There are others who are experiencing this. But it's very key, though. Pure reality guides you and help you to understand what you're going through, and with the help of God and His guidance, how you can overcome it. It is more than it's more than being sex. It's staying pure. Pure when it comes to staying away from alcohol, drugs, smoking, staying focused on your schoolwork, finishing school. And these are some of the things that we promote and highlight throughout the retreat, and all in fun and in fellowship with God.
Well, listen, I can testify that this will be a life-changing experience for any young person that will go and participate with an open heart and an open mind. Let's give the ages for this great event.
The ages is from 12 to 24.
Awesome.
Ages from 12 to 24 is the age. Yes.
And once again, I'm a big fan of this ministry, a big supporter. We have a bunch of our kids from Southeastern Conference that will be there.
Yes.
They're going to travel on the dimes and the nickels and the dollars of Southeastern Conference, those Friday night live viewers who are supporters of this ministry of Southeastern Conference through your generosity, your tithe, and your offering, and your gifts that you give to our departments through your benevolence. We want to say thank you for doing so. And so we want to send our kids. Listen, the window is open until Saturday evening. He may lose some friends, but he's doing this out of ministry.
They're going to string me out, but by God's grace, we'll be able to squeeze the Friday night team. And I want to say, Elder Pastor Prince, thank you very much for your support and your commitment to the teens and the youths, that you reach out within your constituency. You've been very supportive of the program, and I want to say thank you. Southeastern Conference has been very supportive of the program. And this is something that Southeastern Conferences should be proud of. And I'm glad to see the participation and the engagement of Southeastern Conference in this program. Thank you very much.
We're proud of the team. We're proud of the initiative. We're proud of our lay members joining this awesome movement. You have mentors and other participants and leaders from all over this country, and from different churches and denominations. So I'm just excited to know that our people are partnering to do something awesome and something impactful for our young people. So God bless Periodity. God bless you, my friend Darren, and the team for a job well done.
Yes, I want to also say this is the first year that we will not be taking registrants from outside of the state of Florida.
Oh,
but
wow.
Normally we have from as far as California, New York, Chicago,
overseas,
the Bahamas,
the Bahamas,
Caribbean, Jamaica,
Turks
and Caicos. They all come in for this retreat. But in light of us coming out of COVID, we felt that to play safe and make sure that everyone is safe. So we just restricted to the geographical areas of
Awesome.
Florida.
Well, D, this was great, my friend. Thank you for
Thank you
coming
very
on
much, sir.
and for promoting ACP Vision Center and Plurality. Once again, I want you to partner with ACP, this Vision Center, and put your love in a tangible form through the Cash App that we have so that we can be a blessing on March the 25th to someone in need of this type of intervention. God bless you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
I'll see you soon.
And for anyone who wants additional information, you're welcome to go to acpcommunityservice.org, and you can read all about our programs that we offer. Thank you very much, sir.
Absolutely awesome. God bless you. Have a great Sabbath, my friend, and we'll be seeing each other soon.
Take care.
Listen, that's the way you start a program. Absolutely awesome. We want to always highlight our youth ministry auxiliaries, even those that are outside of the conference, but connected to our churches. That is what ministry is all about, the initiative to care in a tangible way. And Plurality and ACP, they're doing it at a level that's unbelievable. It's reaching the hearts of those in need. Listen, let's hold on with Lex. Let's bring everyone on. We have some familiar faces. I want to get the crew in here before we bring on our special guest real quick. J. Road. We got Java driving. We got the Bishop. Oh, we got Eddie. Eddie. They got the Eddie. Oh, my goodness. Look who's back. Look who's back. Look who's back. Look who's back. Welcome back. Welcome back, Miss Cherie. We missed you.
Hi, everybody.
You've been missed, I tell you. Had nobody to clown on, and you made my job so hard.
What?
It made my job so hard. Had nobody to lean on. Welcome back. We missed you. How you doing? How's the fam? It's just good to have you.
Everybody's doing good. I missed you guys too. Hey, Eddie, it's been a minute. Good to see you.
60 seconds too long, man. 60 seconds too long.
Oh, man.
Well, listen, we're going to go quickly around. We have a special guest in that of Dr. Norman Miles, who will share with us some historical facts about the regional work. This is an awesome man of God. So, J. Rose, say hello to everyone.
Yay, yay. Cherie is back, y'all. Eddie is back, risen from the almost gone. It is so good to see everybody. Bishop is chilling in his mansion. Matter of fact, he doesn't want the pie in the sky. He wants it now. And we have our man Java just cruising along. There you go. Happy Sabbath, everybody.
And last week, somebody posted that they didn't know we had R. Kelly in the building.
Oh, no.
No, not R. Kelly. Not R. Kelly. Not R. Kelly.
Java is better.
Listen, they said
the guys chilling and relaxing.
And somebody made a comment about me. I forgot the comment they made about me and my colors. I said, well, hey, we decided to be a little jazzy. Hey, Java, they didn't like the swag we had. That swag group. I tell you, boy. I tell you. Java, say hello to the people.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to give a shout out to Fitzgerald, Georgia. I'm going to be in the house in the morning.
You're going to the fish. Go ahead, boy. Preach the gospel of Jesus. While we're talking, you stay focused on the road. Okay. Hey, Bishop, greet the people quickly, my friend.
Greetings.
Yeah, go out the door. See the door in the back, and you walk out the door. Go walk out the door. Go walk out the door. Eddie, come on and say hello. Don't be like this guy, please.
Hey, what's up, everybody, man? Listen, welcome to FNL Friday Night Live, and I hope you guys enjoy the show tonight.
Praise the Lord. Somebody gave more than just a greeting, a hello. Lord, I tell you. Go out the back door. Leave the back door. Go. Cherie, you didn't get your oxtails, but come on, we can still talk.
Avery had a message for you.
What's
Pastor
that?
Prince.
What's that?
Avery asked me tonight, she said, Mommy, what would life be like if you weren't friends with Pastor Prince? And
Oh.
I told her life would be very boring. And then she said, "Is he a good friend, Mommy?"
And you said,
I said, I said yes. He is a very
oh,
good friend. Yes,
oh,
I
you.
did. I said he's a very good friend. Look, get away from here.
Listen, kids tell the truth, man. Kids tell the truth. They tell on you. They tell on you, man. Come on.
Did she just yell across from the room? No, you didn't say. And listen, man, you were just pulling my strings too. But I was like, hey, I'm about to get teary eye on this. But man, listen, you fired. You know, you just fired. You're fired. You're just fired. You're just no good. You're fired. That's why you get those oxtails. Don't chastise her. Don't chastise her now.
She can't even get back quick enough.
Okay, don't try to send her to her room. Okay, she told the truth. Praise
Oh my
the
God. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I don't know where she popped up from. I can't breathe.
Lord.
Listen, man. They say your lies will find you out, Cherie.
Listen, Cherie, that was not very. I thought something was wrong with that. Hey, I thought something went fairly wrong, Eddie. But I praise the Lord for my real friends, those I can't see. Praise the Lord. Well, guys, it is so good to have everyone back. Lex is in and out. Weather is sort of playing with the internet signal. Is not allowing a strong enough signal for her to join us. But Lex, we want to say hello. We appreciate what you do, buddy. We miss you too. But she'll be back soon, prayerfully today, if possible. If not, we'll see her next week. Listen, guys, I want to bring right now to this stage Pastor Norman Mile, Dr. Norman Mile, former professor of the seminary, taught many pastors, many of our great pulpiteers and the theologians that we have within our denomination. They have sat at the feet of this great scholar, also a former president of Lake Region Conference, a visionary, a progressive thinker. We praise the Lord for him. He's now retired, enjoying life, but still actively engaged in ministry. And I'm not sure if he's retired. I need to make sure. I might be wrong, but we will find out. At this time, can we bring Pastor Dr. Norman Miles to the stage? Dr. Miles, welcome, my friend. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Very happy to see everybody. And hello, Jay. How you doing, nephew?
Oh, yes. Oh, you got family ties on here.
Hey, Unc, how you doing? I'm doing well.
Good.
I'm trying to call April, but I don't know if she's gonna come on.
Yeah, well, that's all right. But tell my baby, even when she doesn't see me, I'm thinking about her.
All right, I'll let her know. I'll let her know.
I talked with Bobo a couple of weeks ago. We talked for about an hour and a half.
Okay. Oh, here she is. Here she is.
April Cat, how's my baby doing?
Hey!
Good to see you, sweetie.
Hi, how are you? You're the guest of the week. This is awesome.
Yeah, isn't
What's
that
Uncle Norman, guys?
I don't know how that happened, but hey, I'm here.
I love this family reunion. We just one big family. I love it. Hey, how you doing?
You know, when my kids were small, I used to tell them, don't ever talk about anybody when you go out. You don't know who's related to who in this family.
That's the truth, isn't it? That's the truth.
It's true.
But I've known April since she came into before she came into this world, and her parents. I've known them for so many years, and her dad. Well, you know, it was probably my very best friend on the face of the earth. And well, anyhow, I can't go there because I get all choked up, and y'all have to just cut my stuff off.
No, we would not do that, Dr. Miles. We would not do that to you. Never. Well, I'm happy we had the family reunion.
Yeah, good to see you, April. I'll tell Aunt Doris I saw you because she ain't fooling around with any of this technological stuff. She just said, do what you got to do. In fact, she's down in Houston with Erica right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Well, it's great to see you.
Okay, good to see you, baby.
Love
Take care.
you.
I love
All
you.
right.
Bye bye.
When we say FNL is family, we really mean that. This is a family show, and we love how we can chat it up and just go family all the way. Absolutely awesome. Dr. Miles, it's good. It is good to have you, Dr. Miles, with us this evening. And I want to make sure that I am giving the proper information. You are not retired, are you?
I am not retired.
I do apologize. I'm trying to give you extra pay to, and the easy. I don't know if it's any easier. Either way, people.
Well, I will tell you, even with the regional retirement plan, you don't get anything extra when you retire.
You just get some peace and quietness.
Well, you get to do what you want to do, but I've been doing what I wanted to do for a long time, so I don't see any need to retire right now.
I got you. I got it. I think that's a good way to put it. The right perspective. But Dr. Miles, we are so grateful once again, grateful that you took the time to join us. We want to continue to unpack the history and the successes of our great regional conferences, and what God has blessed us to grow from nothing to now something that's major, something that's a large part of the Advent movement. And your part this evening is going to unlock some new areas, some new adventures that we haven't had thus far, with so many gifted individuals and their stories and their historical value to this discussion. So, Elder, if I can just start you off with a question, if you can share your ministry journey. You're decorated in so many areas. Just share with us your ministry journey in this great denomination.
Well, my ministry journey has taken a lot of interesting paths. I started out born and raised in Toledo, Ohio. Went to Oakwood College in 1964. Is when I went. Had not planned to go. Had planned to be an artist. Had a scholarship to do art at the Bowling Green State University in Ohio, and ended up by a fluke and a group of circumstances of being coerced into going out and just seeing what it's going to be like for a year. Just try it for a year. Well, you can't tell nobody to go to Oakwood, at least not in the 60s. You couldn't tell anybody to go to Oakwood and try it for a year, because if they tried it for a year, they were going to stay until they got done. And some stayed for lots of years, even after they got finished. But when I graduated from Oakwood, when I first got out of school, didn't have a sponsorship right away, but I did find a partner at Oakwood, a wonderful young woman who grew up 45 miles from me in Inkster, Michigan, but we had to go 500 miles from home to meet. But we wanted to get married, so we weren't going to wait on a job. So I went back home and worked as a counselor, working with young people who had gotten thrown out of, who had dropped out of school and didn't have job opportunities and so forth, and getting them back in school and getting them retraining. And my wife and I, we got married, and we were there in Toledo for a year, and I got a call to the South Central Conference, and we came to South Central, and we were assigned to a 4-church district in southern Mississippi: Hattiesburg, Gulfport, Brookhaven, and Macomb. And J. Roll's father-in-law followed me down there, and they were in Meridian and Soso, and what was the other one? Meridian, Soso, and there was one other one, I don't remember. Anyway, we were the bad boys of the regional work at the time. Well, I'm going to tell you how it was. When I was pastoring in Mississippi, we had the most disrespectful and motley crew of people in there in the state, and all of us were in our 20s. There wasn't a 30-year-old in the state. Dr. Henry Wright and Elder Joe McCoy were the old guys. They were 27, and Elder Randy Stafford and myself, we were the young guys. We were 22, and we had Elder Michael Bernard and Elder Stephen T. Lewis and oh my goodness, I'm trying to remember everybody else who was there. Dr. Charles Joseph was there a little while. He left just before we got there, but when we were there, just a bunch of 20 somethings that Elder Dudley sent us there and just told us to do the work, and we were so glad. It was a dangerous time to be there. It really was. I mean, we landed. We're in Mississippi in 1969 and 1970. It wasn't no time to be down to be down there, but we did crazy things, and I was kept under surveillance by the FBI for about 2 years. Jay Roll's father-in-law sued the General Conference and the Southern Union, and so we did some interesting things while we were down there. And that's why I say we were the craziest bunch of we were the bad boys of Adventism.
Dr. Miles,
Yeah.
You were watched by the FBI?
Oh yeah. In fact, years later, it came back on me. Years later, as a professor at Andrews, some 25, 30 years later, I was getting ready to go to South Africa and teach. And I couldn't get my visa. They wouldn't approve my visa. And I couldn't figure out why. The school would send it in and everything. And then somebody from the school who was from South Africa called the embassy. And he said, well, what's the deal? And at first they said, well, we lost his application. They said, no, you didn't lose his application. What's the real deal? And he said, well, your man has a civil rights record. And they said, well, and this was at the time when Mandela is still in jail. He hadn't been released. He was released about 2 years after I was there. And so but this person, because he was from South Africa, knew how to talk to the folks. He talked to the right person, and what hadn't been accomplished in 9 months got accomplished in about a week. And I had my visa and went on to South Africa, and they made me an honorary white person, so I could go wherever I wanted to go in South Africa. Oh yeah. On my on my visa, when they asked for race, they put W. These are things they don't tell you in the books.
Okay.
Anyway, that's not even what you asked me. You asked, okay, but yes, but I was in Mississippi for about 3 years, and then left Mississippi and came to Andrews University to work on my Master of Divinity degree. And at that time, the conferences were not usually sponsoring us and letting us stay the whole time. They wanted you to come out, and it's some of the presidents didn't have a lot of respect for the MDiv. I didn't see the sense in going there and working on a master's degree if I leave and not have one. And so I asked for them to let me stay. I was not allowed that privilege. And so, but I was told that I could stay if I wanted to. And, I could reapply for employment, when I felt like it. And so I ended up going to the University of Michigan. I did a year of my MDiv work at Andrews, and God opened up the way for me to go to the University of Michigan and work work on with a scholarship for a PhD in history, and that's where I went. And I went to U of M and started my work there. I went to the Ypsilanti Church, and the president asked me if I would help him out there, and I did. It wasn't a pay thing; it was just a thing of ministry. And I had a chance to work with a wonderful retired, Elder Eric Dillette, the late Elder Dillette, had just retired, but they still had him pastoring 2 churches. and his wife had just passed away, and I took over the Ypsilanti Church from him and worked with him, and just a delightful relationship with this wonderful spiritual man of God who taught me a lot of things. And then the conference asked me if I would come and work full time to pastor in the Detroit area. So I did. I pastored Ecorse, Michigan, which is a Detroit suburb in southwest Detroit, and Belleville, which is a little country church between Detroit and Ann Arbor. And I was there for about 4 or 5 years and got ordained, and I was finishing up my dissertation, and I received a call to come to Andrews to teach. At first, I was just teaching for the summer because they needed somebody to take Dr. Ben Reeves' place. He'd gone to Oakwood to chair the religion department. They needed somebody to teach a class that he taught, and so they recommended me, and my president approved it. And after I got there, they asked me if I would stay, and I struggled with that. And finally, I said I'd give them 5 years. That's what I said. I'd give them 5 years. I ended up giving them more like 20. But so I stayed there at the seminary and taught. Started as an assistant professor, and within a few years, I moved up, but was promoted as I did my, what you have to do as a professor. You teach and you have to publish, and all that. And I became chairman. I became the first black department chairman in the seminary. I chaired the Christian ministry department for 8 years. And then in 1994, I think it was, I was asked to become president of the Lake Region Conference after the untimely death of the late Elder R.C. Brown. And I served there for 10 years and 10 months. And I left Lake Region and came here to Allegheny East.
Wow.
To pastor the Trinity Temple Church here in Newark, New Jersey, where I have been for the last 16 years. So that's what my path has looked like. Now
that is a decorated past. Now, wow, impressive, Elder. Let's take a chapter out of that book, and let's talk about the Lake Region Conference. Share with us the historical aspects of this great conference and the impact it has made on Adventism as a whole.
Well, the Lake Region Conference was the first of what we now call regional conferences. It comprises the states of Michigan, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Illinois, and at one time, and probably still does have a couple of churches in Minnesota, but that wasn't part of the original territory. But at any rate, this conference got started because there was the church was challenged in the 1930s and 40s with regard to race. Because we had most black people for years had been working, lived in the South, and what little work we had as Adventists was primarily in the South. Elder Kinney and others who started the work down there. He's the first ordained African American minister who started the great magazine Street Church down there in Louisville and so forth. These were Southern workers. But something happened in the 20s, in the years between 1916 and 1920. You had a huge migration of black people. They called it the Great Migration. It was one of three actually, but it was the first one of millions of black people who left the South to come north. And the reason was simple. Once this country got into World War I, they needed people to help in the factories to turn out manufactured goods and so on and so forth. And for years, very few blacks had been coming north because most of those jobs were taken by foreign immigrants. But when World War I broke out in 1914, but by 1915, 1916, immigration from Europe had ground to a complete halt. So now who you going to get to stoke the furnace, and who you going to get to do whatever you got to do in the steel mills and so forth? And they said, well, there are a whole lot of black people down in the South, a whole lot of black workers. And so these companies began to send black people, send what they call labor agents, just send them down south to just recruit. And these guys would just show up in a town, go to the barbershop or wherever it was that black folks were hanging out. Black men would hang out, and they would say, "Hey, we got jobs in Pittsburgh or in New York or in Cleveland or Detroit or wherever. We got jobs, and we can pay you, and you don't even have to, if you're willing to go. Here's a train ticket. Just get on the train, and we'll take it out of your wages over time after you get there, and we'll pay you like $4 a day, $3 or $4 a day." Well, you have to remember that at that time in the South, a black man probably wouldn't get more than $1 a day, if that. So $4 a day, man, I'm gone. And so some of these guys would just, as soon as they heard the news, they would just leave. They wouldn't even say goodbye to their folks. They said, "Go tell my mama bye. I'll send her a telegram when I get there." I had a member of my church, of one of my churches, a couple that had been part of that, and they lived in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and he was recruited by a labor agent to come work in Detroit. Told his wife, he said, "I'll send for you as soon as I get a place." And he went up there and he worked for about a month or so, and he finally was able to secure a place for he and his wife, and they had a little baby. And she said when she got the in the mail, he sent her some money, and he sent her a train ticket. She said she fried a chicken, made a couple of sandwiches, packed one suitcase, left. She said she didn't even lock her house. She opened the door, told the neighbors, "Come in, take whatever you want. I ain't coming back." And she walked to the train station, got on the train, and never saw Chattanooga again.
Never.
Lord Jesus.
Never. And so what happened was, now you got a huge group of black people that are swelling into the cities, and they are and people. It's a proven fact that people who have made one major shift in their life are much more open to making another one. And so now these people are hearing the Advent message and so forth, because we had a few great evangelists like Elder Sheaf and in New York, J.K. Humphreys and a few others. And people began to, so the Black Adventist churches, which were under state conferences, then began to grow. And so now you started getting a First Harlem Adventist Church, which we now call Ephesus. And you start getting other large churches of maybe 600, 700, 800 members. That was unheard of among Adventists, to have an 800-member church like you had in New York under J.K. Humphreys. With all these new members, all these new black members in particular, there came some real challenges. And the challenges were dealing with the leadership in the church, because the church had never dealt with the issue of race and inclusion. Had never dealt with that. Now you had on the one hand, you had somebody like Ellen White, who had several black friends in the Midwest, like the Hardy family and the over in the Grand Rapids area, and the Menassees and so forth, who she stayed at their homes, and when she and her husband were traveling over there and so forth, and but you did not have, on a concerted way, you did not have any real work for blacks except the work that James Edson White had started in the South under duress. Really, he just went on and did it. And so now you started having conflicts, and then as you get more and more of these members becoming Adventists, well, what's the first thing you tell? What is the first thing that happens to an Adventist when you become a member of church? They say, you got to learn something. You know, you got to study your Sabbath school lesson. I've seen people go from becoming functional illiterates to becoming business owners when they came in the Adventist church, because you know, you say, well, you gotta learn how to read. You gotta study a Sabbath school lesson. Well, I don't know how to read. Well, let me teach you. You gotta learn though. And so now you got black people who they find out we got schools. Well, black people want their kids to be educated as much as, if maybe more than, most people. So now they want to send their kids to the schools, and they know we got Oakwood. You know, they've heard about that, but everybody ain't wanting to send their kid back to Alabama. I just came from Alabama. I don't want to send my child back there because I came away from there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my mother was an immigrant from Louisiana, and I can tell you she was not happy when I went to Alabama to go to school. You know, but it greatly increased her prayer life. And she was even less happy when I went to Mississippi to minister. She kept saying, "Can't the conference send you somewhere?" And when she retired, moved to California, she said, "Can't you get a call out here? Won't these people give you a job out here?"
You want to go back?
Yeah, no, man. My mother, no. But anyway, so you start having conflicts, and because some of our schools began to establish quotas. For instance, the College of Medical Evangelists, which we call Loma Linda now, had a quota. They would accept 2 black students a year. Emmanuel Missionary College, which we now call Andrews University, had a quota in terms of the number of black students it would accept. Columbia Union College, which we now call Washington Adventist University, also had a quota. So and Atlantic Union College, which is no longer in existence, it had a quota as well. And so now you got black people starting to bump up against these quotas, and even in our medical institutions. And many people know the famous story of Lucy Byard, who got sick in Washington D.C. and couldn't get a bed in Washington Adventist Hospital, and so they moved over to Freedman's Hospital, but along the way or shortly after, she died. Well, you know, we don't know if she had cancer, they say, and so we don't know if she would have survived anyhow. But the optics were not good, and people went off the rails. Black folks said, "We're tired of being treated like this." And there were a group of black people in Michigan, in Ohio, in New York, and in Pennsylvania, who organized a group of people to lobby the General Conference, and they came up with this thing. They said, if the 4 freedoms, freedom from want and all that, if the 4 freedoms are okay in America, how come they can't be good for black people in the Adventist church? And they lobbied the church and to do something different, to be a fully integrated church. Now, meanwhile, in Detroit, at what was the Hartford Memorial Baptist, I'm not Hartford Memorial Baptist, there's a Hartford Memorial Baptist, I'm sorry, what they call the Hartford SDA Church, which is now City Temple. It was the big church in Detroit, and at that time, they had been really pushing the Michigan Conference to give them more autonomy over their funds. They had become one of the largest tithe-paying churches in the conference, and so the president of Michigan Conference, Elder J.J. McElhaney, had been experimenting with letting them have a little bit more control of their own stuff. They could hire some people and not necessarily come through him, and so on and so forth. And but he was experimenting with this to help them move and keep them off his back. And you don't want to mess up. He had sense enough to know you don't want to kill the goose that's laying the golden eggs. But this group that was pressing for the General Conference to do something, they eventually did meet with them, and they were pressing for full integration. The brethren just didn't see how that could happen. But J.J. McElhaney was sitting in the meeting, and he said, "Well, brethren, I've been doing some things with our colored brethren in Detroit, and it's been working out pretty well. Why don't we just let the colored brethren have their own conferences? So when they came out of the meeting, people like A.V. Pinkney and some others who came out of the meeting said, well, we asked for integration. They didn't give us integration, but they gave us segregation. But they gave us segregation with power, so we took it.
When you say power, what type of power?
Self-determination, power over some of your money, and power over determining who gets hired. You have to remember that before we had regional conferences, every black person who got a job because somebody who didn't look like them decided to hire them.
Never thought about that.
And one of the most interesting things is that most of the people getting hired were people who were of Caribbean descent. And there was a reason for that, because these were people who had just they'd come through the missionary experience. They'd been sending missionaries to places like the Bahamas and Jamaica and so forth. And so most of our early ministers, our early black leaders in the black work, about half of them were from various Caribbean islands.
So are you telling me, Elder, that the work in America, the black work in America, was a mixture of the West Indies?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The first president of Lake Region was Elder T.M. Fountain. But you also had one of the greatest evangelists of the time was Elder, oh shucks, I'm forgetting his name now, but he was from St. Kitts, Elder J.H. Lawrence, who founded the Capital City Church in Indianapolis. He also was the pastor of the Glenville Church in Cleveland. And he was he was one of the most beloved evangelists of all. J.K. Humphreys, whose fallout with the administration in New York conference ended up with the conference president showing up in the church one night and having a meeting at the church and said that we're not gonna have him serve as pastor anymore. We're putting him out, and he's from Jamaica. And 800 African Americans got up and walked out with him.
Wow!
And they never came back. They still have three congregations in New York to this very day.
Now, Pastor Miles, you have to understand, we have done this for about a month and some change, and this is the very first time that I can recall. I don't know about the rest of you guys on this program, that we're hearing that a portion of the work in America has a heavy influence of West Indian activities or activity. Let me put it activity. Excuse me.
Look. Elder C. Bradford's dad from Barbados. He was a minister, and he was Calvin Rock's uncle. Elder J. Malcolm Phipps and Elder St. Clair Phipps, who both of them passed away, but their dad was from Trinidad, a pastor from Trinidad. Elder Lawrence from St. Kitts. So, there were Elder Fountain from I think he was from one of the smaller islands, but he may have been from Barbados. But at any rate, there were a number of the early ministers, especially those who had worked before with the establishment of regional conferences in the North, were from outside the United States. And the truth of the matter is, and every time we talk about this, people talk about the West Indian African American split, and I will tell you what I tell everybody: Black people don't have any trouble with each other until somebody starts telling them about each other.
That's a word.
You think about it.
That's a word.
All them African Americans, and they didn't just follow JK, I mean, you talking about 800 black people, almost most of them were African Americans from the South, got up and walked out of the Adventist church because they were going to put their Jamaican pastor out. They weren't going to have it. And look, who all these black people following Marcus Garvey at the same time. Marcus Garvey from Jamaica, but most of his followers were African Americans. You know,
wow, that's some history. That is some history. So let's veer away from what you and I put together as a script.
Okay, all right.
Let's
I'm gonna
move
go
away
where
from
you
that.
want me to go.
Yeah, let me just push you a little bit. Where did the divide between West Indians and American sort of slipped into the pot? If we had this great merger, this great movement to unite just the black work, where did that split, that divide, that tension creeped in? Where did it creep in at?
Well, you know, and excuse me if I'm skeptical even about the tension. I think the tension is overwrought. Is there tension? Yeah. Is it as deep as people say? I'm not at all sure. But I will tell you, when you began to see a change, and that was in around the 1950s and actually the 60s, about the 70s, 60s and 70s. You began to see a different kind of situation, because the early Adventist pastors who came from wherever they came from, they just came to worship and to minister to and to baptize whoever showed up. And so they had members and they knew how to reach people, even though they may be from another country. They knew how to reach people from all different kind of countries. They knew how to reach people from the rural South. They knew how to talk to them, and they knew how to minister to them, and they were beloved by these people. But what we began to see later on, especially as you got more people from the Caribbean immigrating here, is that instead of having a mixture in the church, you began to have a recreation of what you had back home. So the goal was not, well, you know, we're going to go out and grow the church, whatever black folks show up. The goal was, well, you know, you have a pastor who comes here, and all the people who maybe came from his area of Jamaica, who know about him and they knew him at home, now they come. And so now, instead of having a church where he may be one of 10 or 15 or 20%, now it's just the church. It's transplanting what they had at one place to another place. And the desire to do that has created some tension, so that you do have churches now that are primarily, not just primarily West Indian, but you have some churches that are primarily Jamaican or primarily Guyanese. There is a church in England in a place called High Wycombe, and about 90% of the membership is from St. Vincent. You know, so it happens even in Canada and these other and in England, that people have began to organize along lines of their nativity and so forth, and that began to create some tension. But those early leaders that we had, that was not an issue. That was not an issue. They didn't make it an issue. They just their thing was, we're gonna reach everybody. They weren't trying to recreate something that they'd come away from. In fact, some of them probably didn't want anything to look like what they came away from, to tell you the truth. And there was a conscious effort, I think, on the part of these ministers to reach the African American.
Who were some of the pioneers of Lake Region, that first conference? are we still dealing with a mixture of West Indians and African Americans as this conference is developing in the North?
Well, Lake region not as much because you didn't have a large West Indian um, migration to the Midwest at that time, and yet the first president, Elder Fountain, was from the West Indies, and you had several other pastors and leaders who were from various parts of the West Indies and South America for many years. And he's retired down there with you now, and that is Elder Ivan Van Lang. He was actually conference secretary with me, but for many years he was the principal of the Shiloh Academy in Chicago in his greatest days. I mean, this guy, when he was principal of Shiloh, they had 500 students and a waiting list.
Wow.
They were the premier. The students from Shiloh clipped out of first year college math. I mean, people from all over the city of Chicago wanted to send their kids to Shiloh Academy. So there were many people who served in various capacities in Lake Region. But it was a mixture, and but here again, there was an attempt. You're going after African Americans because that's who we saw as our responsibility, and whoever else is in there. If we're going after black folks, and if you black and you from somewhere else, that's fine. But we're not trying to get a Jamaican church or a Trinidadian church or and so forth. And I think we had a healthier approach to ministry in those days, because you know, and you look, some of my heroes in ministry, their parents were from the West Indies. You know, as I said, Elder Bradford, dad from Barbados. You know, now some people didn't know that. He never tried to hide it, but it wasn't important. You know, his dad's out there doing the work, and sent him to Oakwood, and he did the work.
He did the work. He did the work. Well, let's stay on the line. Let's talk about race. Really, you know, race within America and the church. Let's talk about. Do you think, you know, race relations in our churches? How do you define that within the North American division? As you look at America and you look at our churches, do you see anything that's uniquely different?
No.
Nope.
No. I don't see anything different. Here's the thing. And we say the church should be different from the world, and it should be, but it's not. So the same racial hangups that America has, we have. Now, have we made progress in this church? Yes, we have. We made tremendous progress, but some of it, you know, for instance, let me give you a little history that'll make you laugh, and it's gonna make Jay laugh. I know. When we were in Mississippi, we had we didn't have a lot of church schools. In fact, we didn't have any South Central Church school when I was when his father-in-law and I were in Mississippi. Although at one time we'd had 16, but they had all closed down over the years. So when we got there, no place. So he's in Meridian, Mississippi, which at that time was where the Gulf, what we call Gulf states now, it was called the Alabama Mississippi Conference then. That's where they had the headquarters, and they had a school there. And the members of Elder Stafford's church wanted to go to that school, and they had a pastor who was open to that, so they got together and they made an arrangement. They had a meeting, and people said, "Yeah, we're going to do this." In Mississippi, in 1969 or 1970, we're going to do this, and what happened was that there was a doctor who was a member of the church, who was a very big giver, of course, and he was a big wig in the church. He wasn't there when they voted that. When he declared his children were not going to go to school with people of color. And so the members, afraid that they would lose the doctor's financial support, changed their minds, and they reneged on what they said. Now, by this time, the black folks the people gotten excited. We now passing the racial boundary. The kids got their little books and so forth. They buying uniforms. Oh no! So now Elder Stafford got to go back and tell them that this ain't gonna happen. Great disappointment. So one day he is over at the conference office because they had a gas pump there that when they sold gas cheaper than anybody else. So he go over there and get his gas. So he's pumping his gas, and one of the brothers comes over, and like they always try to do. Well, Brother Stafford, we're just so sorry this happened. We're so embarrassed. It's a terrible thing. Yeah, I agree. Yes, but we appreciate the Christ-like way you've handled it. What they meant was you didn't do nothing, so you're being like Jesus. We appreciate the Christ-like way you handled it. So he says, well, I didn't think that we should fight about this or something like that, So I'm just suing you. He said, what? Yeah. You. So he had gone down, got with the NAACP, and they filed a suit against the church, against the conference, against the North American division, against the Southern Union and the North American division. And so naturally, the division called Elder Dudley and said, "You got a crazy pastor in Meridian. You need to do something about him." And he said, and Dudley said, "Well, really? I don't think he would do something like that. That sounds not unless it was a good reason." "Oh no, he's done that." He said, "Well, I'll look into it." So he called Randy and told him to take a vacation, just drop out of sight for 2 weeks. And a few days later, people from the division came down and they met with the NAACP folks and everything, and they settled it. And a statement was written that was published and still is in the Southern Tidings that says our schools are open to children of all ethnicities and so forth. The original statement that appeared in the Southern Tidings was written by the United States Justice Department.
Wow. Didn't know that. Wow. Dr. Eddie, come on and join us. You had a question. Wow.
So now you're asking me where we are now. I don't. We're at a different place now, and I think individually, I think the young people don't have the hangups that the parents have, because they're going to school. Some of the down where you guys are in Florida, you got Forest Lake Academy and kids going there, and the kids don't have a problem with themselves. I don't think, no more than any other kids have with themselves. Their parents do still have problems.
Mercy.
And I do think, and here's the thing, that what I have got to give our cousins credit for.
Our cousins.
Well, the cousins, they ain't treated us like brothers, but but we still kin. But our cousins have come to the conclusion that money is green. Money is green.
Well said.
And so here's what happens. You got black people who will not send their kids to a black school, or if they do, they can't get their tuition in on time. They always late and this and that and the other. They always got a problem. But they will send them to a white school where it costs more and they'll pay them on time. Y'all know it's true. I know it's pride in this eyes, but y'all know I'm telling the honest to God truth.
Amen. The birds say.
And the reason why we're not having those. You remember when we started having those big programs, those Mark Finley did one, and and they finally
Net,
do
those
net
net
programs.
net.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know why we're not having them anymore, don't you? You would think that now we should be having them. Now we're all into technology and all that. But you know why we stopped having those programs? Some would disagree with me. But what happened was those programs were designed to try to reach a group of people that were not being reached by traditional evangelism in this country and in the Adventist church. That was white Americans. White people were not being reached. So they came up with the idea of reaching with the net, put Mark Finley on one and so forth. And us black folks laughed at it. We said, hey, well, yeah, well, maybe they'll get something with that because you know what? Black folks ain't gonna go to no church and watch somebody on television. Now we were stupid.
Look at us now. Look at us now.
Yeah, we were stupid. We didn't know. And what they found out was that at the end of all things, at the end of the net series, about 60% of the people that they baptized were people of color. And every year they did a net, they got more people of color joining the church.
Wow.
Check the stats.
Doc, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Man, listen, first of all, I just want to applaud you to say that, man, listen, I'm always fascinated when I hear about the history, man, the history that lies, especially within our regional conferences, man, and all of the amazing things that's transpired since the inception of the regional conferences. I want to ask you a question. It's been asked before by many of the guests that's come forth, especially in the last 1.5. But I want to definitely get your take on this particular question. This is specifically for the newer generation who are listening to a lot of what is being said, and they're reflecting on the inception of the regional conferences. They're understanding the need for it in terms of how it came into existence, the fight, and I would go as far as to say there's a whole generation who's proud of what you have done and what those who are ahead of us have done in order to get us to the place where we are now. Now, I want you to talk to the individuals, the younger generation who's looking at the now regional conference and the state conferences and who are trying to figure it out. They see what's happened in the past. They understand the history to a point. But in terms of today's relevance, they're asking the question, is there still a need for the regional conferences? And is the regional conference and state conference divide, is that hindering the work rather than progressing the work? I just kind of want you to speak to that.
Sure. And understand these are my opinions that are filtered by over 53 years of experience in the regional work. But I think we need regional conferences now more than ever. Why? Well, first of all, who else is going to look out for us? Our needs are greater than they've ever been. Oh yeah, more of us are affluent and so on and so forth. But we're not reaching a lot of our affluent brothers and sisters. We're having challenges with our young people who have grown up in the church, who, when they reach the age when they can go out and do their own, they're saying, you know, I don't like the way I was mentored through this process or whatever, and fooey on it. You know, I respect what y'all do, but it ain't me no more. We have people in our community who are longing for something. Who have mental health problems, who are longing for something that speaks to their needs more than ever before. This pandemic has shown us how deeply flawed our communities have become. And it has also shown us how great the opportunities are if we will grasp them to reach out to our own people. Trust me, ain't nobody in Florida conference that doesn't look like you that's concerned with with getting people that look like you to join the church. Now, if people who look like you join the church and they bring some money, they can stay. But they're not looking for you. Now, the other thing is, who's going to let me make a statement. How many how many of you guys are pastors? Or will actually get a check from the church? 3 of you. I want to tell you that if we didn't have regional conferences, 2 of you wouldn't have a job.
Explain that.
You said 2 because we
push that.
Cross it over.
I'm saying 2 of the 3 wouldn't have a job. Well, look at it like this. Look at systems in our church that are how should I put it, that are, well, let's look at systems in our church. Let's look at the health system. We got black people coming out of, black doctors and technicians and administrators who are coming out all of our schools and other schools all the time. Many of them are applying to Adventist Health System. What percentage of them get hired? Y'all in Florida, how many black people you see in any positions of responsibility when you go in those fancy buildings? Yeah, and the church is silent.
Dr. Miles, you pushing, Dr. Miles, you're pushing tonight.
Listen, I love it. And I'm gonna just push just a follow-up.
You're pushing tonight, Doc.
I want to play devil's advocate, Doc. I just want to play devil's advocate.
Just play advocate. Don't play the devil.
Don't play the devil's side. Don't play on the devil's side. Don't run in that traffic.
Listen, okay. So look, I'm loving the response. Now, a few people who came on the line actually gave a truth that we all know, and you know this very well, that in a lot of the state conferences, you know, when you look at their camp meetings or whatnot, they look more like pepper than salt. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And so more of the state, you know, so in essence, while there still is, and I want to put this in quote, while there still is a quote unquote divide in terms of state and regional, it doesn't seem so much of a divide when it comes to congregations. As a matter of fact, there may be some stigmas that's put on both sides, and so I'm going to play devil's advocate for the speak to the person who's looking at the state conferences and they're saying, look, there's plenty, if not most of the church, the majority of the churches are ministering to us, are reaching us. They have pastors who look like us. They have congregations who worship like us, and so on and so forth.
Well, that is true in some places. That's true in South Florida. That's also true in New York City, where Greater New York Conference is pretty much another regional conference. Just they call it a state conference, but it's not, because most of the members are now black or brown people, and they run the white folks out. You know, it's just like when black people start. And here's what happens: when black people start going to any kind of institution like a church or something, when you first get there, they're glad to see you. And this says something about diversity. They're glad you're here. This makes a statement to the community. And when 2 of you come, that's wonderful. When 10 of you come, well, that's all right too. When 20 of you show up, well, okay. When the congregation gets about, and the tipping point's about 20%. When the congregation gets about 20%, all of a sudden, you know it's getting ready to turn black in a hurry. I don't know where all those white people go. But it's happened consistently in the United States and in Canada and in England. I remember when the first black man went to England to be a conference administrator because they didn't have any. Now, every conference in England is headed by a black man, and the president of the British Union is a black man. Where all the white people go? Did they go to Ireland? We don't know. And the same has happened in Toronto, in Canada. See, so there ain't no real desire to be with us. Here's what happens. You look at those churches that we say are our churches. They're not churches that evangelize our churches. They're transplant churches. They are churches that are by and large from a particular group that got transplanted, and they said, well, brother, come on, yeah, we love you here. You come on with us, because we'll give you a pastor who speaks the way you like to speak, and you can get all the Jamaicans or all of whoever you're trying to get in your church, and you're gonna send in your tithe, and you're gonna keep the rules, and that's okay with us. And we can put up with you being a camp meeting once a year because you ain't running nothing.
Mercy.
You don't run anything except your church. Understand something. If you talk, and I know there was a whole big caboodle about regional conferences. Should we give regional conferences? Have never been the problem. By the way, we didn't ask for them, but I think it was God's blessings that we got them. But here's the thing. It would be like if I lived in a house and you build a house next to me. And I said, boy, I like your house. So I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sell my house, and I'm gonna come live with you. Now, what would you think? Well, first of all, you probably wouldn't let me do it. But even if you did, I'd soon find out that at some point or another, I'd be doing something, and I would be sternly reminded, hey, this is my house. This ain't your house. This is my house. And one of the things that happens, and we don't like to talk about this, and it's not happening as much now because people are getting a little better with it. But at some point or another, when you go into somebody's house, at some point, if you cut up, they're going to tell you, this is my house. They will remind you of that. We started out with just our people. We are still the only people who have an interest in winning us. Look at your major cities. You're down there in Miami-Dade County and so forth. How many white churches are in Miami?
Whoa. You said a mouthful now. Now you folks, old folks will say now
now wait a minute. Don't y'all have a lot of white people that live in Miami?
Actually, I don't think we do.
You don't think so?
I don't think we do.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know where they're located, Doc. You got to find them.
Well, they live in places you can't find.
You're right. Probably in the ocean.
Well, if you know what they say, if you know where they live, you can take their television. So they find places where we can't. Well, but
now you're meddling, Doc. You're meddling.
But you look okay. Well, maybe Miami is a bad example, but okay, I'll tell you about New York. New York, there are a lot of white people that live in New York. A lot of every kind of people live in New York. But there's no white church in New York, or no church with a majority of white members. There used to be, not anymore. The same is true of Cleveland. Same is true of Detroit, which is now mostly black. Same is true of Chicago. Same is true of Toronto. Now you can't tell me a lot of white people don't live in Toronto. And if you go to Toronto, to the Ontario Conference, if you look at the roster of their churches, any church that you find that has 200 members or more is a predominantly black church. In the city or the metropolitan area of Toronto.
Doc, you getting some facts tonight. Listen,
well,
I don't think we have been pushed this far since we started this series. You took us so deep tonight. I think we all got to be purged tomorrow morning. You are dropping some heavy stuff on us, man. Wow.
Well, I had bad training in the beginning when they dropped all of us off in Mississippi, and 50 some years ain't improved me very much.
I see you're still bad. I see you're still bad.
Well, I'm not crazy, but I am a little unwell.
Bad boy for life, Doc. That's more for life.
It's a little bit unwell.
Yeah, I'm a little unwell.
Well, Doc, listen, two more questions, and we're
Sure.
gonna let you go, but we got to bring you back. I'm daring myself. I'm going to challenge myself because I think it would be a real nice program to have you, Dr. Joe McCoy on, to have on a couple of those very
They call us legacy presidents.
legacy presidents. You know something, Doc? I am going to actually do a program with the legacy presidents, and I'm sure
we'd have a blast.
Well, I need to make sure. I just need to make sure my job's going to be intact when I'm done. That's all. I just got to make sure that I have a church because the legacy presidents, they don't hold back. They drop the mic. I mean, listen, I have to say thank you. You are one of those presidents that took the time to stand up and give us a package of dignity and honor. And we want to say thank you for being one of those legacy presidents, for risking your career, your upward mobility to take care of us. So we want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for what you have done. But just briefly, talk about that. There's a story told. There's a story told, and I think Pastor McCoy would give us permission to share this particular story. But it was a story he shared with me that was just mind-blowing and just hilarious, with you talking to an administrator about something. I don't know if you can remember the story, but he told me the story, and it was quite shocking. I didn't realize that those type of transactions actually transpired. But he just opened up, and you want to give us a rated G version?
Well, which story did he tell? I'm not sure if he told the one that's in Calvin Rock's book or if he told another one.
He told another one.
Well, give me a start. I don't know which story he told me.
I think you and the good bishop were in the office of either the GC president, or it had to be the GC president, and they were threatening to do something, or they were not going to do something, and you guys told them in a very polite way, if you don't do this, then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well.
Lord forgive me.
Well,
but listen, if we're going to be an authentic program, and if we're going to share truth, this is definitely the place to do it, to give a perspective of the Black work and of the Advent movement. It's not to bring shame, it's to educate that we have, a Holy Ghost intervention in among us when we do business just as well. But go and share that with us, Doc. I think that would be a good way to depart.
Well, let me say this. I think, first of all, when you talk about the regional retirement plan, first of all, the church has been complaining about retirement plans. It ain't just been Black folks for years and years. With Black folks, we always knew intuitively that we were given more than our share, because we hadn't been in the game. Lake Region came in the game in 1946, but Michigan Conference was organized in 1860. So when Lake Region was organized, they're still sending the same percentage of tithe for retirement as the Michigan Conference. The Michigan Conference got a whole bunch of people on retirement. Lake Region doesn't have any on retirement. When I became president of Lake Region, we only had 17 people in the whole conference on retirement. Only 17. Now, part of it was because we hadn't been in as long, and part of it is because Black preachers didn't retire, sometimes because of necessity, sometimes because of they just was a lot of times because of necessity, because the old plan, if you did a whole 40 years, you would retire with getting a little less than $1,000 a month. They used to call it the 900 Club. And people like E.E. Cleveland, C.D. Brooks, W.J. Scales, and all those guys, when they retired in the 900 Club.
Wow.
You think about that. Even when they retired, it ain't been that long ago. What you gonna do with $900 a month after 40 years of working? And so when they said that they're going to now change the system in a way that we thought would make it even worse, we just said no, we ain't gonna do that, because now you're gonna take all of the risk off of the organization and put it on the worker. Well, the worker, you basically have a 401k, and if it works out for you, that's fine. If it don't, too bad on you. And my friend Joe McCoy used to always say, you can't not pay me now and not pay me later. We signed on knowing we weren't going to get paid up front, but we figured that when it was time to retire, y'all would let us retire in dignity. And you can't not pay me now and not pay me later. And yes, we were in a couple of offices, and we were told a couple of things. What I did say, and I'll recite the one that was that Calvin Rock also had in his book. We were at a meeting. The general conference president had called us in. All regional presidents had to show up. It was on the 4th of January, and they sent us word just before Christmas, and they had everybody there, not just us. They had all the general conference officers, all 3 offices, all of the union presidents. Now, if you know anything about how they schedule those meetings, it's hard to get that group of people to that particular mix of people together without months and months of advance notice. They pull them all together in 20 days, and we were all there. And they told us what we needed to do. And what I said, well, Elder, the way we look at it is like this. If I was on a train and I got on in my hometown of Toledo, and I'm with a bunch of people that I like, we having a good time, I'm on the train, I'm trying to go to California. But the first time the train stops, it stops in Pittsburgh, and I realize I'm going in the wrong direction. Now, the fact that I'm enjoying the company and we're all having a good time and I'm eating well and so forth doesn't change the fact that the train's going where where I don't want to go. So I either have to ride the train out to the end, or I have to get off and take a train going to where I want to go. And I said, we don't want to go where y'all going. We're just not going to go there. And so we're going to get off and go in another direction. That's what we're doing.
So you told the president in a very profound way.
The president and all the union presidents and all the rest of them who were there. Look, here's the thing, gentlemen, and I need to say this because I really believe that the regional retirement thing was born of God. I do. I worked in that thing from the time we started in that thing and in the private meetings, and I can't even tell you about some of the real private meetings. I can't even tell you because y'all don't believe preachers talk like that, especially when they're on the top level. But when we were in the meeting with the cousins, the division president several times had just send us in different rooms to cool down before we come back and talk to each other as we were negotiating this thing. But God was in this. And I want to give kudos to 2 people. First of all, to late Elder C. Dudley, who started talking about this years and years ago. When I was a young person, I didn't even understand. I didn't even think I was going to live. I thought Jesus was going to be here before I retired. And so the idea of retirement, and he used to tell us about that, and he put a fire in us. And my friend Elder Joseph McCoy, who I call the father of the regional retirement plan. Now the rest of us are real close uncles, but he the daddy. And he really pushed this and helped us. We all got on with him and we walked together. And the thing that I must say about my colleagues, and everybody wasn't ready to go at the same time. Yeah, everybody didn't just jump on. Some people had to be cajoled, some had to be persuaded, some had to be tugged, some had to be pushed. And one president wouldn't sign. And when we got to the signing, one president wouldn't sign, and the secretary of the conference signed for him. Because I ain't gonna say who he is, but he retired and getting that money every month right now. But he wouldn't sign. And I'm just saying, truth anyhow. But the point is that we did something out of a conviction, and we were able to do it because of three things. First of all, we believed that God did not want us to allow our people to suffer the way they were suffering under the old plan. We felt that we could deliver something better. Now, some people didn't believe that we could deliver something better. We were audacious enough to believe that we could actually do business on a higher level, on as high a level as the general conference structure itself, because only divisions have retirement plans. Conferences don't have them. We actually believe that we could do the work of a division. Unions don't have retirement plans. We actually believe that we could do that. We got the best legal help we could find, and we operated on some principles that we were going to be responsible and hold each other accountable. We were hard on each other, because if a conference got behind, we said, if you get behind, we'll work with you for a month or two. If you can't get your stuff together, you're gonna be out, and all your workers, you ain't gonna have no retirement. Because see, once we started the regional retirement plan, the GC made us get out of theirs. We had to sign a document saying that if ours fell apart, we wasn't gonna come back to them asking for help. So we also trusted each other. We trusted each other. Even when we didn't agree, we trusted each other. I think the next thing is that nobody was trying to score some points and go up the ladder. Everybody knew. I mean, when we voted in my conference, our conference after the week after South Central voted theirs, we voted it in our conference committee. And one of the first questions that somebody asked was, "Well, what's going to happen to you as a result of this?" I said, "Well, I'm truncating my career right here." The division president already told me that. I'm truncating my career right. I'm never going to be in a union or in any other place in the hierarchy. When y'all get tired of me, get mad with me, and decide I need to go, I'm gonna go back to pastoring or teaching, and I'm okay with that, because I had a life before I became a president. For me, being a president was just another place to serve. It did not define who I am. I mean, I was enjoying life long before I took on those headaches. So we weren't afraid, because we had unity, because we trusted each other, because nobody was trying to get up the ladder and say, "Oh boy, if I do this, they're gonna whack me. I ain't never gonna get up." And we all knew that. We all knew that we were putting a target on our backs, and you look, and they shot at every one of us. Some they wounded more than they did others, but everybody got a turn. But the point is this: it was the right thing to do. We started that plan December 5. We signed the document December 5, 1999. We had $0 in the bank.
September 5th.
Yep, December 5th.
December 5th.
Yeah, my birthday. That's how I remember it. And that plan now is worth, I'm trying to remember the last numbers I got. I got the last numbers about 2 weeks ago. But it's worth over $350 million today. That's right, Jay. Put your hand over your mouth. You don't even want to say it. Oh, Lord.
Wow.
And every month, over 500 people get their check in their bank account. And by the way, we paying for everybody, even the people who are not on our plan. The people who are working for regional conference who retired before the plan was put in existence, even though they're getting that $1,000 or whatever they're getting from the division, we're paying for it, because we said we're going to pay for all of our people. See, you can't say something is yours and you don't take responsibility for it. So we said, so these are our people. This is our plan. The law says we can't make it retroactive and give them the same benefits. That's what the law says, because it operates under federal banking laws. But what the division does is the division every month, when they send out their money to regional workers who retired under the old plan, we send a check to the division reimbursing them. Oh, y'all didn't know that? We paying for everybody. I told you we paying for everybody. We reimburse them over $1 million a month. We're reimbursing them for the money that they're sending to our retired workers who retired before we had a plan in existence, because our commitment was we're going to take care of our people. That's the main reason why you can never not have a regional conference, because nobody else is going to make that commitment to take care of us but us. Now now I'll drop the mic.
Wow. We did not know that. So every month, we're supporting another retirement system.
Plus the medical.
Yep. To take care of our people.
We are taking care of all of our people. We said we were.
Wow. I didn't know what to expect. This is like the third interview where I'm just left in shock and just in amazement of just the history of what you and other great leaders endured to give us this gift. And to know that it's not just for us, but you went so far back to make sure everyone got on and everyone is treated with dignity and honor. That means a lot. That's really just special.
Pastor, can I ask you to do something? I know the hour's late and y'all ready to kick me off, but let me ask you something for all of those of you who do ministry, whether I see your faces or not. When we started this, it wasn't just to have a nice retirement plan for us and whoever else would get on it. A retirement plan was never the end game. The end game was always, until Jesus comes, self-determination. Putting all of our money together, supporting each other. Retirement plan was just the first step. We have demonstrated that we can do it. And our retirement plan, by the way, Mutual of America tells us that our retirement plan is the envy of the industry. They take it around when they recruit, when they're talking to other people and other groups that they're working with, and they say, well, now this is what these people have done, because we told them what we wanted, and they had to tailor it the way we wanted to have it. In fact, when we some of you met, have you guys met Ladovrick Huggins?
Not yet, but we will soon.
Okay, Ladovrick Huggins, great guy, man. He was with the Nashville group of Mutual of America when Elder Dudley started an annuity program way back when. And when he heard we were trying to do something bigger, he talked to Elder McCoy and we brought him in, and he's just a tremendous guy. Just he meshed with everybody. And so when Mutual of America saw the potential in this, they said, "Yeah, we want you to be our client." And what we'll do is when we make the pitch, we have an office in every one of your cities where you guys got a headquarters, and we'll have the guy from New York. He'll go to Northeastern. The guy in Chicago will come to Lake Region, and so on and so forth. And we said, well, we quickly realized that what that means is that the only thing the Ladovrick is going to have a piece of is South Central. He ain't gonna get none of the, he's a black man in the organization, and they'll be glad for that. But all these other boys gonna get the big pieces in New York, and so we said no, we don't want to do it that way. We would like Mr. Huggins to be our national person for all of us. And they said, well, we don't do it like that. That's not our business plan. And we said, well, if you can't alter your business plan, we're going to have to look for somebody else to handle our account. And a few months later, Ladover Huggins was national vice president of Mutual of America. And he's been handling our total account for the last 20 years.
Wow.
So, we learned, but here's the deal, gentlemen. Until Jesus comes, we got big things we got to do, and the opportunities. I'm only young in my head, but the opportunities I see, if we can just keep on doing this, keep on staying together, putting our resources together, what would and this plan is almost, accountants don't and the treasurers don't ever like to say it's fully funded because you're always hiring new people, but we're getting to the place where we're not going to be having to put the same amounts in to keep the fund going, because it's living more and more. It's living off its interest right now anyway. And but if we keep putting that money together, we can start designating some of it. And let's say, well, we put together $20 million a year. Let's say 1 year we say we're going to give every conference, we're going to allocate for every conference in the year of education $1 million to give to a school for capital improvement. See, a lot of things. Things take a long time when you're giving out $100,000, $200,000 at a time. Work goes real fast when you drop $1 million on it.
Yes, sir. Baldwin English, did you hear that? Yes, sir. I like that.
And so, for those of you who are going to be going ahead, I'm just saying, please don't drop this ball. We have proven that we can do it. We have proven when we got this thing passed. One of my friends who worked at the division, he came up to me and said, Norm, he said, they didn't believe y'all would stick together. You see what the cousins think? They didn't think we'd stick together. They figured they could pick us off. Like we want somebody have an ambition to get up in the big house some kind of way and so forth. But we had a group that was solid, and even the ones who weren't completely on board said, I don't see it right now, but I ain't gonna speak against it.
Wow.
Somebody's got his hands up.
Go ahead, Eddie. Bishop. Wow.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Miles. I've been asking this question, and you've started to answer it, and I thank God for that. I keep asking in these discussions we're having, the retirement plan was that frontier, and I keep asking, what's the next frontier? What's the next challenge that we can tackle in a united way? And you started talking about education, and I know one of the challenges is for some of our conferences, we have our locally funded teachers that are not in the retirement plan, and it seems to me like that is another frontier for us to tackle, because these are still our people, and they're working for little money up front, and then they're getting nothing in the back end because they're not a part of the retirement plan. And so I thank you for that. I definitely believe that there are other frontiers for us to tackle, and we can use that model in order to handle some of the other challenges that we have in the regional work and advance it. So thank you for that, because every time I ask, they say, well, no, I think we've kind of where we need to be. And to me, it's something else. Yeah.
Brother Bishop, let me tell you this, Pastor. We're not where we need to be. We're not where we need to be. Listen, let somebody tell me that to my face, I'll punch him in the nose. We're not where we need to be. And anybody who says that is a liar or a damn fool. Sorry. I'm sorry. Well, damn's in the Bible, so I mean it in the biblical sense. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Now you ain't gonna have me on after this.
We will. Go ahead, finish, Elder.
But here's the thing. We got so many things that we need to tackle. Well, give you an example. We got conferences that are struggling financially. Some conferences are doing well. Some conferences are not doing as well. What would happen? And I tried to do this when I was chair of the caucus to get us to do this. What would happen if, let's say, I'm talking to you guys on the computers. Now, everybody's using computers and stuff now, much more than we did before. My conference buys a bunch of computers for schools. Everybody else buys computers too. What would happen if we went to Apple and said, look here, or whoever we buy them from, I've gone over to the dark side. I'm an Apple guy. But if we went to Apple and said, listen, here's what we're going to do. We got these 9 regional conferences spread all over the United States. We would like to make a national deal with you for Macs. We want to get all of our pastors a Mac so that they can do whatever they need to do. They can do StreamYard and Zoom and Dog Yard or whatever else is out there. What would happen if we went and said to them, here's what we need to have. We need to have not 10,000, but we need to have what? How many employees do you think we have in this country in regional conference? I don't know.
We probably got six, probably 6,000 might be roughly around.
Okay.
It's a lot of people.
But let's say we also threw in the computers we need to buy for the schools and so forth.
Oh well, are you talking about? Okay, yeah, that's everybody. You're talking about at least 20,000.
And so what kind of deal do you think we could get per unit price if we went to Apple and said, give us 20,000 computers? Or we all buying paper. What if we went to Quill and said, we want paper. We want you to be the supplier of choice for these 10. Well, we have a national organization and we're located in 9 different regional headquarters. We want you to be our thing of choice, our supplier of choice. That would change our economic picture. What about evangelism and our approaches to evangelism? And I like what you guys are doing. I mean, you guys doing this is a wonderful thing that you're doing here. But we can do so much more of this. You don't have to pay an evangelist to come someplace and preach now, because we know even as people going back to church, a lot of people ain't going.
You're right. Yes, sir.
A lot of people they're not.
You're right.
What can we do? Trying to get me, they can wait.
We can do a lot.
But what we can do, there's so many things we can do. The needs are humongous. The needs in our inner cities. We could transform our ministry in our urban centers and do things that we haven't even dreamt of doing. Or if we dreamt of doing it, we said, well, don't even waste your time. Don't even waste your brain power on that. We could never pull that off. But we can see these things accomplished, not in decades, but in a few years. Look, we started with nothing.
Look at us now.
They're building a new building down there.
Yeah.
The major funding behind Breath of Life is us. Did you know that?
No.
The major funding behind Breath of Life is the regional ministries. There are all kinds of things that we can do. So we just got to do it. So you guys, please don't stop at a retirement plan. Because by God's grace, I'll benefit from it, but not for long. Because all of us have an expiration date stamped on us. I just don't know when mine is. But you guys, when I'm long gone, you guys need to be doing whatever you can do to before Jesus comes to reach people for Christ in every way that you can. And ain't nobody gonna be concerned about us but us.
You know, Dr. Miles, what I hear is still a passion for the work, a desire for us to continue to march forward.
Okay.
And run with
whatever
this.
they did to me, they're not. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. It's all right. What if this phone call came knocked you off?
Well, listen,
I can't hear you.
We can hear you, and we want to say thank you for a job well done. Let's affirm the man of God right now for such a powerful presentation. I'm sure he's going to come back on. We want to thank him. And those who are still with us, this is a late night for us, but listen, it was worth staying up for. I listen, it was worth every moment, every minute, every second. Dr. Miles is a gift to the church. And if we can just affirm this man of God, but I am excited, Bishop and Jay, to hear that the passion is still there. The passion is still there, and they're counting on us to pick up that baton and keep running with it. What you got to say, Jay, as we close tonight, and then Bishop, and then we'll close out. What you have to say?
What I have to say is I'm just glad he really went deep and took a deeper dive into what Elder McCoy was not able to get into. In my opinion, as far as the regional conference, this was part two, just taking it to that next level and showing us. And the passion and what I took from it most, and I hope that our audience took from, is that everyone was willing to work together. No one was looking to have the crab mentality and climb onto the other back to receive the credit for it. So therefore, I think it is awesome. You go from zero to over $300 million. That is a blessing. You look at them. That's true pastoral work. We are looking out for everyone that needs to understand who Jesus is and to be taken care of with the life necessities that come day to day.
That is absolutely awesome. What you got to say, Bishop?
Yeah, man, just great information. And for me, that the idea of the way forward is always important because we're looking at where we've been, and that's important because it gives us perspective. But what's the way forward? What is that next challenge that we should be taking up? What about, I saw somebody put in the comments, what about housing projects?
Endowment,
To help, what about health care? What about, just so many of the other things that we need to tackle in our communities. In a lot of our communities, we have food deserts. Why don't we have a robust program where we're helping to provide, community gardens? We have food deserts all over our communities of color. And so, it's just looking at ministry from a different perspective, and what's that way forward? How do we pool our resources? How do we tackle some of the challenges and not wait for a hand down? Let's give some folk a hand up and let's move people forward. So that's it.
Well, you hear the baton is being passed on to us, and the challenge is a simple challenge at the core. Is believing in what we have, believing in the system they have established, and actually caring for it to the place that we move the mission forward. And I'm excited that they still believe there's much for us to accomplish before the second coming of Jesus. And that package is not just preaching the three angels' message, but it's also addressing felt needs. It's also addressing illiteracy. It's also addressing hunger. It's also addressing equality. It's also addressing abuse, child abuse, and different tragedies that we have been unable to address within our community because of a lack of concern, policing ourselves, before we have to give way to police officers coming in to do that, taking control of our communities and making them havens so that our children can play again outside. All of that is in the commission of GO. And I believe that we can pick up the baton and move forward. The baton is ready for us to run with it, guys. Let's do it. I enjoyed this conversation with Dr. Miles. I love his energy. I love his passion. And I look forward to bringing a few of them, the legacy presidents, together. That is going to be a good program. We'll probably start working on that in the next month or two, probably doing camp meeting. We'll probably try to bring them together so that we can just have a feast of listening to these giants as they share their passion, their concerns, and they give a direction of the future for us to grab hold of and run with. Listen, guys, Friday Night Live, this was absolutely awesome. By the way, Plurality is in need of mentors and chaperones. So if you are excited and if you want to be in this environment with these wonderful, educated, passionate leaders as they pour into our children, you want to be a mentor on that weekend, if you want to just be a chaperone and just be there to chaperone the kids, just go and register at www.plurality.org and just follow the information and just fill out the information, and they will contact you. And trust me, you're going to have a great time. So those who are interested in being a part of this great movement, please do so. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Guys, have a great weekend. Happy Sabbath. Global Youth Day is next week. I can't wait to see many of you in Salem as they have the community event. We have our medical cadets will be with us. We're going to combine together the youth ministry forces from youth ministry part, from the Pathfinders, Master Guides, medical cadets. All of these auxiliaries will come together as we serve our communities throughout Southeastern Conference. I will be at this location on next week as I look forward to joining hands and shoulders and all of the other moving pieces and parts to bring this program to a great success. And also I'll be with Plurality on Friday. Can't wait to see the young people and spend a little time. So guys, I'm excited. It's a busy weekend. Next week, the 19th, for the whole weekend as we celebrate Plurality, Global Youth Day, and other initiatives. Listen, guys, God bless you. This was a great night. Have a wonderful Sabbath. Go to church on whatever platform, or better, even in person. God bless you. Have a great evening and happy Sabbath. Friday night.
Thank you for sharing this time with us. And remember, please share this on whatever platform you may be watching on right now. And if you are on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. Once again, this program is just for you. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week right here, same time, same